I want to play every single RPG on the PlayStation Portable, but there are over 100 RPGs released for the PSP in the US alone. I have to start somewhere, and so I thought I would start with some RPGs that are not ports and are some of the biggest and best on the platform. In order to eat an elephant, you have to begin with one bite. So let's start this journey and take a look at some of the original PSP RPGs released in the US. I'll be going in the order of the one I enjoyed the least out of these games to the one that I enjoyed the most. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep launched on the PSP in 2010. This was after the release of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, making this the third release from the series, and of course, it was extremely welcomed by fans. It seems that Kingdom Hearts as a series was getting things figured out by this point, as this game, in the opinions of many, is one of the best in the entire series. Serving as a prequel to the original Kingdom Hearts, it gave fans one of the most narratively crucial and emotionally evocative chapters in the entire series. And, hold on to your excitement for just a moment, it was also a solid game. It was one of the most ambitious action RPGs ever to hit a handheld system, and that is saying something. Now, I've played Kingdom Hearts 1, but I've never played Kingdom Hearts 2. I can't pretend to be too well versed in the story of Kingdom Hearts, so bear with me. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Going by what I've read and experienced so far, this is what I know. Set only 10 years before the events of Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep follows three protagonists, Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, of whom I prefer and decided to spend most of my time playing. These characters are apprentices training under Master Arrakis, voiced by none other than Mark Hamill. These folks are training to become Keyblade Masters. When the seemingly nefarious Master Xehanort goes missing and unversed creatures begin stirring across the Disney realms, the trio of characters begin their separate journeys. You choose which character you want to play as, and then you play their journey to completion. If you want to get the full story, you have to play through all three characters' scenarios. These journeys slowly pull them further away from each other and sort of urge them into betrayal, corruption, and tragedy. Story-wise, it seems like it's right on point with that Kingdom Hearts setup. It's heartwarming, lore-heavy, and, slightly confusing, and eventually gut-punching. The change of structure in this game adds to it, I feel. That aspect of playing through three distinct campaigns, each overlapping and intersecting with others in clever ways, is sort of what sets this game apart from its prior entries. Ventus might visit Cinderella's castle in a sunny, hopeful moment, while Terra arrives later when things have gone terribly wrong. Aqua might come by and clean up the emotional wreckage afterwards. Now, that's not necessarily the way it happens for each of these characters, in each character's case, but it's just an example, as I don't know the intricate details of each person's story. By the time you finish all three stories, however, and unlock the hidden final episode, the scale of what you've actually played apparently will wallop you, from what I hear. It's massive.
You're breaking my heart.
Gameplay is pretty similar to what I experienced in Kingdom Hearts 1, with a bit of flourish that I really enjoy. I'll make no bones about it, I do not enjoy the combat in Kingdom Hearts 1. However, the combat in this one is definitely better, I'll say that. As a matter of fact, I dislike Kingdom Hearts 1's combat so much, I really don't even like playing Sora in Smash Brothers. That floatiness is just not my cup of tea. But again, I have to say this combat feels better. The system also allows for a pretty heavy degree of customization. The command deck system allows you to slot attacks, spells, and finishers, and then sort of fuse them together to create upgraded forms. At least that's my understanding from the tutorials, a little explanation online, and what I've played so far. Apparently, it's impressively deep when you really get into it, further in the game. But even in the opening hours I spent with it, I saw the complexity and the potential. I can see where this would become addictive. The presentation of combat just feels better in this game as well. Battles become flashy like a fireworks show as you trigger shot locks, command styles, and screen-filling super attacks tailored to whatever build you set up. I appreciate the ability to change into other characters' builds by using D-linking as well. I thought it would be kind of silly when I first tried it, maybe a little too complex, but having a new HP bar and other options for combat, even if temporarily, was pretty handy, and it kept things from getting too stale. I may be crazy, but I didn't see an MP bar either, and I can appreciate that. It's just waiting for the timing to be up before you can cast Cure again, and I really like that. Oh, and D-linking with Cinderella was actually awesome. I really liked her style. I really enjoyed D-linking with Cinderella. Despite being a handheld title, Birth by Sleep looks and sounds phenomenal. I'm guessing it's really pushing the PSP hardware to the max. The footage you see with me here is upscaled as I emulated it, and this is comparable to what you would see with compilations on PS4 and PS5. The character models rival PS2 quality. Environments are detailed and flashy particle effects light up each arena. The soundtrack is Kingdom Hearts Fair. The opening song is an absolute jam. And then you can enjoy recognizable Disney tunes in the world as well. I like the way it's just like, bibbidi bobbidi boo. When it gets all that craziness over. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Kingdom Hearts games have flaws. I said it.
Wanna fight about it?
The camera can struggle sometimes, and it's not a terrible deal, but it is frustrating. Regarding the story, of course, it's dense and full of webbing lore, which can be overwhelming for newcomers like myself. But the worst part I experienced was Maleficent. Boys, talk about a crash out. At this point, I'm actually a little embarrassed to show the footage, but I think you'll appreciate the rage. I'm not always positive about games, and this is it's a little bit of proof. If you want to skip the negativity, give me 30 seconds, and then we'll be back into the good stuff. But maybe you should see this. What? Target her? Hit her. Oh my gosh. Dumb. No. What? You stupid. Here, get hit with me. Numb nuts, get up there, dude. What? No, bless it, dude. That's so stupid. He said here. I went up to hit square. It said press square. I pressed square and she blocked. Okay. Am I going to die here? Philip, where in the devil's... Oh my God, Philip, where were you? Am I taking crazy pills? We're done. We're done, because I'm going to have a heart attack. Folks, it's been a good stream. But you know what? I did beat her, and I enjoyed it. I even dare say that I'll likely go back and finish this game because it's good. It's so good. Like, sincerely. And I'm not alone in thinking this. Many fans consider this one of the best written and most emotionally impactful entries in the franchise, and I can understand why. Birth by Sleep is a highlight of the PSP. It's a core pillar in the Kingdom Hearts saga, and it's just cool that the PSP got to host it. It proved that even on a handheld, this series could deliver a story and combat system worthy of such an important franchise. Hey folks, this is my new setup here, and it is fantastic compared to my old setup. I just renovated my setup, the setup here, with FlexiSpot, today's sponsor. This is the C7 Max chair, and this is the E7 standing desk. First of all, let me show you this chair. So this chair's got some wild stuff going on. It's got this incredible lumbar support right there. It has this great seat, which just feels fantastic. I mean, look at that. It's so good. And it has a fully adjustable headrest. This beautiful thing here, completely up, completely down, up, down, forward, back. I mean, it's so handy. The armrests completely swivel around, move back and forth in case you're a bigger dude like me. And then it goes up, it goes down. It's wild. You can also lean, oh my goodness, it can lean so far back. On top of everything else, it also has an awesome leg rest. Look at this thing. So I can, kick back. I've taken multiple naps in this thing. Now we gotta take a look at this standing desk. Oh my goodness. Well, it lifts itself up to 50 inches high and it's so smooth. And then all I have to do to go back to sitting is push the one button. So it allows me to stand, sit, whatever. If I don't want to sit in this awesome chair anymore, I'll just scoot it to the side. I can stand here and work. I can stand here, play games. This thing's a beast too. It can hold up to 355 pounds. I mean, this thing's heavy. One of the cool things about the desk too is that it has a 15-year warranty. FlexiSpot is currently running a Labor Day sale where you can get up to 65% off their items. Plus, there's a shot that you can win your items absolutely free. Go to FlexiSpot.com and use my code C730 for $30 off the C7 Max chair. And use the code YTE730 to get $30 off the E7 desk. If you're a teacher, if you're military, there's other discounts available on FlexiSpot's website as well, so check that out. Listen, I'm encouraging you to invest in your setup. Upgrade to the C7 Max with this discount or the E7 desk today. It is great. Thank you to FlexiSpot for helping me revolutionize my setup, and I'm confident they can do the same for you. And thank you, of course, FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video. Let's continue. Crimson Gem Saga. I think the title Crimson Gem Saga actually kind of sounds like a puzzle game for your phone, but when it launched on the PSP back in 2009, it wasn't. It wasn't a puzzle game for the phone. It was, however, an impressive throwback to 90s RPGs. Developed by Korean studios Ironos and published by Atlas in the West, this turn-based RPG didn't chase after wild innovation or anything like that. It kept it simple, eschewing cinematic spectacle or wild action-based combat. Instead, it focused on an extremely polished, traditional JRPG experience with hand-drawn art, witty dialogue, and great voice acting, and a well-paced, character-driven story. In a handheld era increasingly dominated by action hybrids and one-ups, Crimson Gem Saga flew under the radar to some degree and still delivered one of PSP's best games. This solid, but somewhat predictable, story follows Killian von Rokoff, a recent graduate of a prestigious Knight Academy who finishes second in his class, leaving him unemployed, bitter, and broke. I mean, this guy's really hung up on being the silver medal. Determined to prove himself, he stumbles into a situation involving an ancient artifact known as the Wicked Stone, which is connected to a dark power that everyone seems to be after. Along the way, he joins forces with a sarcastic thief named Spinel. Spinel? Spinel?
Spinal.
I want to say Spinel. Whew, Spinel gonna have some spinal issues though if she doesn't calm down with her battle animations. You know what I mean? See what I'm saying here? She's also sort of conniving and looking for a leg up. Among the other party members are a mage named Hayes and an older man named Geltz with a big ol' hammer. The cast is small but memorable for, whatever reason. And the game shines with snappy writing that balances comedy and heart. Combat is strictly turn-based. Rejoice, peasants, it's turn-based combat! Positioning in this game matters, like, many RPGs. Front or back row placement alters your chances of getting shredded, so hey, put that mage in the back, he'll be alright. Enemy encounters appear on the field, so there's no random battles, and that allows you to ambush or be ambushed depending on your positioning. If the enemy doesn't see you at first, you can absolutely jack them up. If they see you, you have a moment before they absolutely run you down. It's classic RPG in form, but it's incredibly satisfying. The number crunch is certainly here too. If you're not careful, you will die. Magic is super limited for certain characters and abundant in others, so managing resources is absolutely crazy important. It is solid turn-based combat. If you like turn-based, folks, this is the game for you. Start playing now. I mean, like after the video, finish that first. I love the skill tree in this game. The progression is just weirdly appealing. Instead of leveling and unlocking everything automatically, you spend talent points earned in battle to choose new moves, passive bonuses, and some stat upgrades. You actually have to spend points to reveal some of the next moves, and then you can purchase it if you want to. And that felt a little odd at first, but for some reason I enjoy it. The progression gives you some real varied customization over how each party member develops and allows you to tailor your party to your desired playstyle. I gave my hero healing because he needed it in the beginning. I'm not going to spend money on potions. That's a waste of money.
Cheapskate.
Hey!
And now I'm sort of making him a combat medic. And you know what? I'm okay with that. This is the best original Super Nintendo or PS1 RPG that you've played on the PSP. It's just, it really seems to fit in that era. Speaking of that, Crimson Gem Saga is gorgeous for a handheld 2D RPG. And it's probably not what you would expect. I mean, again, it's 2D. The environments are basically painted, full of vibrant colors and fine detail. It has dark towers and some cozy towns. It's all a bit of a story but charm, really. Character sprites are expressive and fluidly animated. Supported by character portrait art, which is beautiful and intricate. I really love these. While it doesn't reinvent the genre, Crimson Gem Saga does something that's maybe more impressive. It perfects a formula. It respects the player's time. It delivers a consistently fun rhythm of story and combat and wraps it in a beautiful presentation that still holds up today. Its biggest flaw is simply that it didn't try to reinvent anything, and that's okay. It came out a little late in the PSP's life, and something I didn't realize until I had already committed to playing this is that it wasn't as popular as I thought it was. Now, it was popular in the circles that I visit and talk with, but it's just generally not that popular. It wasn't panned critically or anything, it didn't have the audience that I thought it did. If you miss classic JRPGs full of personality, turn-based combat love, and heart, Crimson Gem Saga is the game for you. This next game is from a classic series, but it was built from the ground up for the PSP, and its combat is certainly much more involved than turn-based. It is a more than worthy entry in its series. I'm talking about E7. E7 landed on the PSP in 2009, 2010 in North America, and it was a bit of a change for the long-running action RPG series. This was the first original Ys game designed specifically from the ground up as a handheld game. It was also where the series started reinventing itself, expanding its scope with party-based combat, larger environments, and a brand new style of real-time action. This was undoubtedly a risky experiment, so how did it fare as another chapter in Adol Kristen's never-ending adventure? The story picks up in the kingdom of Altago, a desert and floral continent riddled with ancient dragon myths and plagued by mysterious earthquakes. Adol and his loyal companion Dogi see the island in the distance and decide to check it out. They arrive just in time to get wrapped up in yet another legend, this time involving the 5 great dragons, a corrupt priesthood, and a coming catastrophe involving celestial forces beyond human comprehension. E7 keeps things pretty breezy for the most part regarding story, like its predecessors, but it offers more world building and dialogue than earlier entries. It gives us, of course, that wild action gameplay, but this time with a little meatier story behind it. I mean, it did take me like 20 minutes just to see combat in this Ys game. As I'm writing this, I'm thinking that maybe that's not so long, but it really felt like it. Maybe I was just anticipating the combat system so much that the story felt like a slog in the beginning. After I finally got into some combat, I felt like everything picked up pace, so it worked really well after that. It's a good story building for sure, but sometimes I just want to hit something. Let me go into the field and kill some things. One of the neatest things you'll notice is that combat system. Holy smokes, these boys move. For the first time in series history, Adol fights alongside a rotating party of 3, and you can swap between them in real time. Each character uses a distinct damage type like slash, strike, or pierce, and enemies have armor that's weak to specific categories. Now this actually forces you to switch characters. Well, I mean, really, I guess you could just stick to one character, but that would be really inefficient. You basically just kind of have to switch, but it's really not bad, for real. I'm not the type of person that really just wants to keep switching between characters in combat. I want to stick to somebody, but in this game it makes sense and it feels good. Combat is crazy fast and I love it. It's a lot of running around in and out of combat, spamming buttons and special moves as you build your bars up to drop big moves. It feels so satisfying and the combat is smooth like butter. It's action heavy and has enough combo and fun to keep your attention, but it's also pretty simple, which is, hey, a winning combination to me. Cool bosses, the staples of Ys, feel like set pieces here, challenging you to dance around patterns while managing your attacks, skills, and super moves. And it's a fun dance once you get that rhythm down. Altago's overworld has large fields, multi-tiered temples, volcanic caverns, and jungles to explore. Crafting makes a bigger appearance this time around, with materials dropped by enemies feeding into weapon and armor upgrades back in town. Farming for weapons and items is just so satisfying in this game. Once you get the right amount of materials, crafting that weapon you wanted and then going out to the field to punish enemies with it is just, it feels so satisfying. Despite having systems like these that are a bit deeper than the other games, E7 never loses that traditional Ys momentum. You're always pushing forward and you always know where you're headed. You might find yourself stopping to grind, but you're quickly destroying your obstacles and moving on to the next story beat or landscape. It is well paced. Visually, E7 pushes the PSP hard. It looks so good. It's so bright and lovely and solid, but it's also so fast. I can't get over how nice it looks and how well it runs. Now, I emulated for this video, but I've also played this on the PSP, and it runs incredibly well. Character models are chibi styled, I guess you'd call it, probably due to hardware constraints, but environments are colorful and richly detailed. The character animations are silky smooth thanks to a rock-solid frame rate. Now, given the speed of battle, it's pretty important, I'd argue, that the developers fine-tuned this bad boy. Now, I could be crazy, but I don't recall ever seeing the game lag. In classic Falcom fashion, the soundtrack bangs. It's got equal part epic guitar riffs and melancholy piano tracks. E7's music ranks among the very best in the series, making every boss a rock concert and every field a heroic sprint. Critics at the time praised its addictive combat and seamless pacing, though some die-hard fans missed the jump button and tighter difficulty of earlier PC-based entries. Even so, E7 succeeded where it mattered. It kept the heart of Ys intact while pushing the franchise forward, pushing it into the next generation of games, and the series has continued to blossom and grow from this. Definitely do not skip E7. The next game definitely slows down the action, but it certainly cranks up the strategy. Whoa. And I think it actually manages to exceed the charm of the former games on this list. You've likely heard of this developer, but you might not have known that it was the first outing for this type of RPG for this developer. I'm talking about Jeanne. Jeanne d'Arc, pardon my French, released on the PlayStation Portable in 2007. It was an atypical fare for Level 5. Level 5, the developer I was talking about, was known for Dark Cloud, Dragon Quest VIII, and Rogue Galaxy. All great games in their own right, but Level 5 hadn't tried a tactical RPG before. For the company that brought us such excellent games, you'd probably not be surprised that they absolutely killed it with this one. It wasn't just one of the PSP's best titles, it was one of the most charming and accessible strategy games of its era. If you're like me, maybe room temperature IQ sort of stuff, you might have looked at this and gone, is this about Joan of Arc? Yeah, it is. Rather than follow historical fact though, Jeanne d'Arc is a vibrant anime fantasy retelling of the legendary French heroine. In this version, God speaks directly to the young Joan of Arc through a magical bracelet, bestowing her with holy power so she can drive demonic English armies from France. I knew there was something fishy about you English folks in the comments. You must be in cahoots with the demons trying to stop Joan of Arc. I'm kidding, of course, maybe. Joan, which we'll call her because Jean is so hard, is joined by reimagined versions of real figures like, dang on it. Okay, let me try pronouncing these. Giles de Rias and Lahire? I probably murdered that. Anyway, these real life people are joined with like beast folk, talking bulls, lizard warriors, and a cheerful anime version of Joan who is thirsting for battle and ready to disparage the English in a single bound. You know what? Forget this chick. What does she think she's doing, right? Right, mates? Oh boy. If you like the combat in Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre, you're probably going to love it here. As I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, the battles certainly feel comfortable and familiar to me. As you can see, battles take place on grid-based maps with elevation, flanking bonuses, and turn-based positioning that rewards careful, you know what, we'll say thoughtful. It rewards thoughtful play. Units have distinct weapon types, lances, bows, swords, and new skills are earned by equipping gems collected between missions. The combination of these gems to give different bonuses, spells, stats, abilities, and the such is some of the most fun and simple character customization that I've ever seen in RPGs. It really is just crazy simple. If you want your player to be able to heal, you don't have to change classes or anything. You just give them a heal gem. If you want them to absolutely wreck on the battlefield, give them some plus attack or a special skill that hits like a truck. Something that's unique to this game as far as I know is the burning aura and the transformation mechanics. When party members hit an enemy, a flaming aura appears behind them. Positioning another ally there on the next turn results in a power boost. It adds a layer to the tactical combat that is really quite fun. Also, if your characters are stacked together, they get some kind of like special defense. I don't know, I guess they like join hands in defense and sing Kumbaya as the enemy tries to break the line. And this is pretty handy for your weak party members. Joan can also transform into a magical armored form for a few turns, becoming a battlefield clearing powerhouse. The ability that cracks me up is when she kills someone, she gets Godspeed and takes another turn. OP, holy smokes. These dynamics sort of nudge players towards aggressive, momentum-based tactics rather than turtling, which I've seen in a lot of strategy games, which I've done in a lot of strategy games. Sometimes it's fun to have a good turtle. Outside of battle, the game is linear and story-focused. The world map looks very much like a more detailed Final Fantasy Tactics, and players can revisit previous stages to grind or shop. What keeps things engaging is the steady involvement of new characters, evolving battlefield objectives, and beautifully animated story sequences. I love combat in RPGs. Like, I prefer combat over story. However, in this game, the story is just so good. The narrative just carries itself so well, and it makes me anticipate each story beat. In some games, you know, maybe like Ys, I'm just like, give me to the battlefield, give me to the combat. But in this one, I'm actually quite excited to see the next bit. The narrative is just heroic and earnest. I mean, the story is just self-important and stupid, right? Uppity Joan of Arc. But no, sincerely, it's great. It's great. And it has just enough humor to keep it grounded and to keep it fun. Visually, Jeanne d'Arc is gorgeous. Granted, I'm playing it with the resolution cranked up here, but it's just so pretty. Character designs by Akihiro Hino and Yasumi Matsuno's Circle have a vibrant storybook warmth, while the fully animated cutscenes produced by Studio Sunrise give major plot moments some real cinematic oomph. The soundtrack, composed by Takeshi Inoue, I suppose, mixes orchestral tracks with French medieval flavor, capturing both the fantasy and historical spirit of the setting. I kept looking around trying to link Takeshi Inoue to another Level 5 series, namely Professor Layton, because I feel like the music is very similar in spots. But Professor Layton was composed by Tomohito Nishiura. Weird. I was so confident about that. Whatever. It's fine. While the hardcore tactical RPG veterans might find it a bit easy compared to Disgaea or Tactics Ogre, Jeanne d'Arc is a little tougher than I anticipated, as I did fail a few scenarios from letting random characters just die. It certainly belies its simple graphics with some surprises and difficulty along the way. Otherwise, it's remarkably well balanced. It's deep enough to satisfy fans of the genre, but streamlined enough that it won't have you banging your head against the wall trying to figure out that battlefield. I feel like it's a bit of a shame that it didn't become a series, but then I guess that wouldn't make much sense historically. As it were, it stands alone as a beautifully crafted tactical RPG that takes the magic of level 5 and combines it with satisfying tactical RPG systems, giving the PSP one of its coolest exclusives. Well, it wasn't exclusive, but now it's been re-released on the PS4 and PS5, and I encourage you, please check this game out. It's so good. Hey, listen, keep working, keep cleaning, exercising, driving, whatever you're doing, gaming, don't stop on my account. However, I do want to encourage you that when this video is over, which it's not, to check out some of my other content. It's very similar in form to this one, and the library is growing substantially. If you're a fan of retro RPGs, join me on my journey to play all the RPGs. Consider subscribing if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching. Let's continue. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. Crisis Core isn't just a spin-off of Final Fantasy VII, and only considering it as such is a bit of a crime. When Square Enix was firing on all cylinders, attempting to make Final Fantasy VII into a big thing, you know, a movie, a shooter, etc., etc., they gave us Crisis Core on the PSP, which served as a prequel to the 1997 classic Final Fantasy VII, expanding on the fall of Soldier, the secrets of Shinra, and, most importantly, the story of Zack Fair. For fans of the original game, it was an emotional gut punch in waiting. And if you've played Final Fantasy VII, you knew before you played the game that you were in for a sad time. For newcomers, it still had something to offer, one of the most polished and ambitious action RPG experiences ever released on a handheld. It's surprisingly well crafted even when you're anticipating some Squeenix goodness. You play as Zack, the bright-eyed, optimistic soldier's second class with dreams of heroism that you were introduced to in Final Fantasy VII. Under the mentorship of Angeal, his buddy with a super familiar sword, and alongside the absolutely legendary figure, Sephiroth, Zack's journey takes us from the bushy-tailed recruit to tragic hero, leading directly into the opening moments of Final Fantasy VII. The tone starts light and youthful, full of soldier banter, camaraderie, and big dreams. But it grows darker as you see the conspiracies unfold, friends become enemies, and the hidden truth of Project G. Surely large corporations can't be evil, right? What a fiction, they're your friend. Well, at least not in this game, right?
Message!
Unlike the turn-based combat of Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core uses real-time action mixed with RPG mechanics. Zack can dodge, guard, slash with his sword, and cast spells or abilities by equipping materia. It's fast, it's flashy, and, probably deep. I hear it's deep, I just sort of suck with it. I basically just cast spells and spam attack. But you know what, it works. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. You can select attacks, skills, magic items by using the shoulder buttons and just pick what you need at the time. It's handy and it keeps down the menu fatigue. When you're in the battle, you're in the battle, and that's absolutely welcomed. The big standout, unique aspect of the combat in this game is the digital mind wave. This constantly spinning slot wheel in the corner of the screen triggers random buffs, limit breaks, and such based on Zack's emotional connections with other characters. At first it feels a bit chaotic, but later on it feels, like more focused chaos. The important thing is this apparent RNG can flip battles dramatically due to lucky DMW rolls. It feels a little weird at first just to have a rolling slot machine. That sounds like some Kate Sith stuff, but thematically it makes sense as it's tying Zack's memories and bonds with other characters directly into the combat. I think it's important to note that it's a boon. It's not overwhelming once you understand that it's there to help you, and you have basically no control over it. Whatever that control is, I have no idea. Maybe someone in the comments can clarify, but to my understanding, it's just out of your control. This game has a ton of optional side missions, apparently over 300. This, of course, gives Crisis Core quite a bit of replay value. The ability to fuse materia gives you quite a bit of customization too. It's pretty similar to Final Fantasy VII's materia customization, but it's here too, and it works. If it ain't broke, right, don't fix it. With this game, you get the missions, which are short and make the gameplay perfect for handheld sessions. And for meatier stuff, the story chapters deliver the major emotional parts with gorgeous set pieces powered by some of the best visuals ever squeezed out of the PSP. It's quite impressive stuff. The presentation is that Square Enix spectacle. The game has beautifully rendered cutscenes created by Visual Works, expressive character models, and a heavy guitar soundtrack composed by Takaharu Ishimoto that reimagines classic Final Fantasy VII themes. Zack is voiced with earnest charm by Rick Gomez in the English version, bringing incredible warmth and humanity to a character that had been little more than a late-game flashback in the original PS1 title. It does for Zack what Dirge did for Vincent. I mean, really, probably even more so. Folks tend to spout their love for this game and hate for Dirge after all, but both do well to flesh out these characters. Apparently, critics at the time felt the DMW system introduced too much randomness, which is, easy to forgive when you just ride that benevolent wave. The story can get a bit melodramatic, and that's okay. Like, I really don't mind that terribly. I'm actually kind of a sucker for it. Crisis Core strikes an emotional chord. I mean, that's great. Its final act, infamous for its emotional devastation, is considered one of the most powerful endings Square Enix has ever delivered. See, I've not even finished the game, and I still know what happens. Because of that, I don't know that I even want to finish the game. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I do, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is beyond enjoyable. Don't forget that there is a remaster of this game, so you don't have to necessarily track down the PSP game, but that's what I played here, and I hear the remaster is even better. Now, the rest of the cast of Final Fantasy VII may make up the body, but really, it's difficult not to see Zack as the heart.